Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Creative Revolution Show, where we talk about music, art, the lives of creative people, and throw in some information about plant-based nutrition. My name is Ron.
And my name is Sharine. Welcome to the Creative Revolution Show. Today's guest is Nathan Spooner. He's our good friend and a fellow creative revolutionary. He's a singer-songwriter, an author, philosopher, great-grandfather, and late-blooming YouTube video star who used to live next door to the hippies in Berkeley.
So before we bring Nathan on to the show, we're going to show a clip from one of his YouTube famous videos, just a few seconds of, this is Pamela Jane. So let's watch a little music video by Nathan Spooner, Pamela Jane.
Let it roll.
Late one night at a Berkeley party, her name was Pamela Jane. I don't recall all that went down, but I've never been the same since that time. Now do you know what I mean?
Thanks for that great clip. Let's welcome Nathan Spooner to the screen. Welcome, Nathan.
Adiositos. Greetings.
All right. So our audience would like to know, who is Nathan B. Spooner?
Good question. If I figure that one out, I'll let you know. I've been working on it for a while, but I'll get there one of these days. That's it.
Nathan, I know that you've always got a bunch of irons in the fire when it comes to creativity, but the Pamela Jane video that we just watched a clip of is your most recent project. Please tell our audience about this song and video.
Some years ago in Berkeley, I used to live there, I went to a party. The lady's name was Pamela Jane, and she was singing a song, which was kind of cool. And then I thought years later, well, you know what? I think I'll make a video out of that song because it kind of talks about Berkeley and talks about, stuff going on. And so I put it together and it's doing pretty well on YouTube. Actually, it's my fastest growing one.
Can you tell our audience, when did you start writing songs?
Well, let's see. The first song that I actually completed was a song that I had a friend named Annie, and she was gone all the time. She was a photographer. And she and I spent the weekend up in the country north of the Russian River. And my friend had a garden named after his son. His son was named Shaman. So I wrote a song called Shaman Garden. And it's about being with a friend, being in a garden. And that's actually the first song that I completed. I think that was around 1973.
So how would you describe your creative process in songwriting? Do you typically start with the lyrics or the melody or chord progression, or does it all happen at the same time, or any combination of that?
Well, each song is different. I don't really have a plan when I write a song. The first one that I wrote, I had such a good time with my friend that I thought, well, I'll just put some lyrics down. And I wrote it kind of as a poem. And at the time I was living in a house right next door to the hippies, by the way. And it was all musicians, and we started fooling around with it, and I developed the melody line. Some songs, give an example. My friend in Alaska went out to the trap line and he never came back. On the way for his wake, I sat down and I wrote a song about Tony. It took me 10 minutes, completely done, everything perfect. Then another time in Alaska, when my daughter was born in Ketchikan in 1976, I started a song called Southeast Alaska Dreaming. And then 25 years later, jogging on the beach by the Pismo Pier, the final verse came to me. So that song took 25 years to write. And several versions of it, but I have the final version. Some songs that you kind of, I don't know, I don't really have a formula. Some songs you kind of get an idea of who it's going to be about or what's it's going to be about. and you kind of start with a verse, and sometimes I'll write verses down, and sometimes a melody will come to me. Give you an example. My daughter wrote 3 songs about Camelot. She gave me the lyrics, and I looked at them, and I sat down on the piano and I wrote the melody for it. They came out really well, but they just sort of come out, but I don't really have a plan.
Well, that's very interesting. So yeah, you've got this catalog of songs and everything, but once you have all these songs, well, what do you do with them after you have all these songs?
Good question. Actually, when I was playing on the streets of Berkeley back in the 70s, I did a couple of songs on the street. And sometimes the songs, I'm starting to play in public a little bit more now. And sometimes you sing them, at a club. Basically, I take my songs, I record them, and I get a CD done. And some of the songs I have on the internet, they're streaming online. And some of the songs, I make videos out of them and I put them on YouTube. I have about 7 YouTube videos. About 10 years ago, my cousin wrote a song in Nashville that was a big hit, and he got, lots of money for it. But as David Geffen said recently, all that way of making money from songs is gone. It's over. The whole internet streaming stuff, you don't get hardly any money for your songs, but I'm putting them out there because that's what I do. And I love doing it. Just like you do. You both write songs.
All right, man. Well, that just sounds awesome. And thanks for the plug about us and all that. I'll probably cut all that out, by the way.
Yeah, sure. Unless I get a cut on it.
All right. So then you have all these songs and you stream, and some get like regular standard radio play and stuff like that. Is there a way that you keep track? Do you know that people are actually listening, or how do you know who listens to your songs?
Like on, I have my songs go out through CD Baby, and they get played for there's about 20 or so different, like Pandora, iTunes, Amazon, and I don't know who's listening, but I know people are listening. I have no idea who they are. Like, I get a lot of hits in Russia. However, when I think it's whatever the website is, but when I get song streams in Russia, I get about, maybe they'll play 30 hits and I'll get a penny for it. On Amazon, I might get a half a penny per hit. So I don't know who's listening, but I know the people from all over the place are listening. However, on YouTube, you can you can do some data research, and it'll tell you if the songs are coming from another country, but you don't know specifically who it is. On ASCAP, I had one of my songs that was playing a lot up in Canada, but I don't know individually who they are. There are some devices where you can look and figure out what radio stations are playing your songs and what kind of play you're getting, but that's kind of limited. I'm not getting that many radio stations that I know of right now, but it's hard to tell.
I hear from a lot of people in the music business, and in the last few decades, it's really gone down, the opportunities for artists to just earn a basic living off of songwriting and stuff like that. And we will definitely vouch for that's kind of what happens to us too. And we have our different strategies we use to keep our bills from going delinquent and stuff like that. But if you're posting and doing all these posting and getting all these streamings, is there another motive behind it? If you're not making money, what's really the point?
Good question. My mother painted paintings all of her life. She wasn't concerned about the money part. My long-term look is like this. One of my daughters is starting to write songs and play, and if I can be a motivation for her, that's good enough for me. Making money from music is, who knows, maybe one of my songs will get picked up by somebody someday and they'll use it and I'll get a royalty or something like that. Or I may go out and play the song and someone says, hey, that's great, blah, 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 let's use it in a movie. Who knows? But if that doesn't happen, that's okay. Because it's like, most musicians love what they're doing and they're going to do it whether they, make money or not, because that's what we do. Part of who we are.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, you're not a musician if you just pick up the magazine and read the magazine or watch the videos and read the advertisements and just buy the stuff. You got to actually just do it. So,
I mean, I guess we really already know the answer to this one, but we'd like to hear you talk about your collaborations and how you work with other artists in your life.
Well, to give you an example, my cousin back in Nashville, he wrote a song that was a big hit back in the 90s. He had 2 songs that he never published, and he gave me permission to do them, and I recorded them. They're not making a bunch of money yet, but and I have good friends, and I use some of their songs in my set list. In fact, one of your songs, Sharine, I have, and I really love it, and I recorded it. And I collaborating. I'll give you an example. A couple of years ago, there was a producer from Hollywood came up and gave the musicians a talk, and he said the most important thing that we can do is to support each other. We're not competing with each other, we're supporting each other. And that was wonderful what he said. And I'm totally for that. And by the way, I got to say one quick thing. In terms of music, making a living, what do you call a guitar player without a girlfriend? Homeless. I just had to throw that in there.
oh, we forgot to say that in the intro that you're a comedian too. You do stand-up comedy at like Puffers and stuff, right?
Well, I tell a few jokes here and there, and sometimes they laugh. And when they don't laugh, I figure they feel sorry for me, so they're going to like the song even better.
All right. Hey, so I know you've done multiple videos. You've done some with little political slants and stuff like that. But if we can, we're gonna throw in another portion of another video. Is there anything you want to do to set up this next one? I think it's called Almost a Love Song. Anything?
Yeah, there was a lady that I became pretty good friends with, and we did a lot of stuff together, but she went off the other one direction, I went the other direction. And at the time, we were pretty good friends. And if we'd have stayed together, who knows, you know. But anyway, so I wrote the song, and I've changed the title about 5 times. I took her name out of it because I didn't want people to, I just took her name out of it. So it's called Almost a Love Song. It's actually about, we spent the weekend together, and it kind of describes what we did. And I realized at the time that, let's put it this way, she lived in the fast lane, still does. I live in a slow lane.
So speaking of collaboration, Nathan graciously asked me to play flute on this song, and we had such a great time doing that recording, didn't we, Nathan? And anyway, so this is it. This is the clip from Almost a Love Song.
Now and then I feel the presence of you still. Somehow I get the notion that I always will. That time I woke up in the morning, you were there. Should have said to you how much I really care. You know I still feel the presence of you now. Even though you're gone, I still recall. Now I wake up in the morning, you're not there. And there's so much that we will never share. At times I feel the presence of your smile. It brings back memory for a while.
That was great, Nathan. Good song.
Thank you.
And he would be proud.
You helped make it real special.
Thank you. All right, so let's tell our audience where they can find your songs.
Before I do that, can I make a little comment? On my latest CD, Grandpa's Blues, the very first sound you hear on that is a guitar player named Kenny Lee Lewis, who lives locally for Steve Miller Band. He's playing the first guitar riff. On that album, the very last sound you hear is you playing the flute on my love song. I think that's real special. Anyway, you can find my songs, I don't know, Cheap Thrills, I guess. No, you can find that they're all over the internet. Like if you put YouTube NBS publish, Nathan B. Spooner publish, the songs come up. If you know the song title, you can type the title and then my name will come up. If you go on YouTube and you type in NBS publish or my name, a bunch of songs should come up.
Yeah, and we'll be sure and put links to how they could find your music in the show notes, as well as probably on the bottom of the screen here throughout the interview. Cool. So, can you share what was your most memorable experiences doing gigs?
Oh yeah, you're gonna love this one. I was in Ketchikan back years ago, and I was playing in Alaska. The bars are open till 5 o'clock in the morning. Anyway, so I was in, I think, the sleaziest bar in Alaska, and I was playing a solo gig. It was about 1 o'clock in the morning, and me and the bartender and a few people were still in the place. And she looked up at me and sweetly said, "Nathan, are you almost done? I want to put the jukebox back on." That was a priceless moment for me. She's not in my fan club anymore, though.
That's great. So I think anybody who's watching who's an artist might really benefit from your answer to this question about how you protect your intellectual property, your songs and everything else.
Well, there's a couple different ways. Actually, the copyright laws, as long as you have the copyright symbol, the year, and your name on the piece of work, you're protected. I filed everything with the US Library of Congress, and you can file a collection of songs together. And if one takes off, you can pull it out and file it separately. And there's a couple other things. You have to have what's called an ISRC code. And if you don't have that on your song or your album, the songs just kind of float around in space, and there's no way for the radio to track them. There's no way for ASCAP to track them, isrc.com. And they put the code, it's metadata. You can add the codes when you're recording a song, or after they're all done, you can have them do it. And then the UPC code, the code to sell it, you can also buy that from them. So if you don't have that on it, your song is just kind of, it's just kind of floating around in space.
I think we haven't talked about it yet, Nathan, but don't you have like one or more books that are out there? Talk to us about your books.
I have a book called Miscellaneous Love Poems, which is a bunch of poems that I wrote about people, friends, and stuff. And I have another book called Stories from Berkeley, and most of it's true.
Can people find these books, or they're like out of print, or they can get a hold of these somehow through you or Amazon or anything?
I had them for sale at Barnes and Noble. They all sold out. You can get them on Amazon, the thing where you do the online book, and that's available. And I'm working on the second edition of the book, so I can re-put them on the bookstores, but they're not out there right now. It covers the years 1963 to 1975 in Berkeley.
Great material too. By the way, I've read both of those books, so I highly recommend both of them. So Nathan, for people who are local to the Central Coast or folks who are traveling through the area and looking for some fabulous entertainment, where can they see you play? Where will you be playing in the next few weeks or months?
Well, I've just started working with a group called Harlan County. It's myself, a fellow, and two ladies, and we're actually going to play at the Foghorn in Morro Bay at the end of January. And we have played Puffers a couple times. We'll probably be playing there. And there's a place in Cayucos Cove, I think it's Schooners, we'll probably play there this springtime. The guy really likes us. This spring we'll be playing more, but Harlan County is the name of the group.
Harlan County. We'll put all this stuff in the show notes for our viewers.
Yeah, and these venues are all in the Central Coast area of California.
Mm-hmm.
If you follow Nathan, he'll let you know when he's on tour. I suspect he'll be going to Alaska sometime, and he's getting some radio play. What is that, in Mississippi or something? Where was
There's a
it?
radio station, a blues station in Mississippi that really likes my songs. They put them
Right.
on
So you
rotation for
could
a while.
possibly be touring from Alaska down to Mississippi sometime in 2023. But if you follow Nathan, he'll let you know when that's going to happen. But anyways, I had to throw that in there because, you know, other people on the other side of the planet will be trying to find where you're playing, and you're not on tour yet.
Not on tour.
Anyways, thank you. It's been a pleasure working with
Yes.
you over all of these years and finally having you on our Creative Revolution show.
You are definitely
Um,
part of the creative revolution for sure,
Yep.
Nathan.
And of course, we'll put any contact information or links in there. You know, you probably have some stuff. Well, we'll put the links in there. Nathan, one last chance for a parting thought or words of wisdom you want to share with the audience today.
Do svidonya.
What does that mean?
It means see you later.
Adios, right?
Adiositos.
Dios
Take
mío.
care.
When I'm waking by your side, anywhere in the vicinity, in my mind and body, I'm satisfied.
Slated for airing in February of 2023. So happy New Year, and we'll see you soon. Thanks again.
Thank you. Oh, spasibo. Bolshoye. Shukran.
Thanks again to Nathan B. Spooner for our guest on this episode of the Creative Revolution Show. And so now we're going to talk a little bit about current things going on around here. If you recall, in our episode number 2, our guest was Paul Shelley. He's a guitar instructor in Los Angeles area, and we're longtime friends. And we said on that show we were going to collaborate and do some music together. So we started and put our first collaboration video up. It's somewhat of an instructional video, or demonstration, I should say,
Yeah.
of some music theory stuff. But oh, it was super fun, and we've already started on the second one. His video portion is done, and I'm going to do my video portion. We'll add those links to the YouTube videos and stuff like that, so you can see that. And then the second thing, ongoing, we're still doing our Axe to Grind meetings. It's not necessarily a band, but it's kind of jam session, chance for people to
Workshoppy.
just workshop, kind of cut loose and improvise. We have got some new guys this month. One's a singer, he sings blues, and the other plays guitar, multiple different styles of guitar. They came for a couple meetings this month, constantly adding new songs, and we're enjoying jamming for a couple hours each week. Put some excerpts up on YouTube. And speaking of music and recording on YouTube, we also did our first Ron and Sharine's Living Room Concert Series on YouTube. So we're doing concerts in living rooms in our local area and region. Could be different artists, but the first one features myself and Sharine doing some original material and some cover material. It's about 30, 40 minutes long, something like that. So it's not too long. And we already have 2 more living rooms. We already know where we're going. We just have not solidified arrangements for the artists yet at this time. But so that's up on YouTube too. It's the Ron and Sharine's Living Room Concert Series.
Yes, I think you'll very much enjoy that. Ron actually took 2 of the songs, Fly Me to the Moon and Santa Baby, and made singles, video singles. And then there's the entire concert of 10 songs. So that was really fun.
Yeah, so as I mentioned, I did this collaboration with Paul Shelley, and we did it all virtual over the internet. And we already have not only our second one in process, but we're going to do one with all 3 of us, Sharine singing and possibly the flute, and Paul and I will play guitars and basses or whatever, however we feel inspired to do a little collaboration, taking advantage of the current technologies and being creative with it. So anyways, what's going on in the kitchen with Vava Vegan, Sharine?
A whole lot of food. Oh my gosh. So I did the complete holiday meal again for Christmas time for my clients, and it came out fabulous. There was so much food, just insane amounts of food, but really good, everything delicious. And now I'm getting ready to do New Year's, and I'm trying something new. I am doing a Cajun New Year's celebration. So it's kind of a thing like, in the South, that people eat beans and rice. And in particular on New Year's, it's black-eyed peas. So they're supposed to be lucky. And then the greens are also symbolizing prosperity because they're green, like greenbacks, right? Money. And so starting off with what I call a Louisiana sunburst salad, full of wonderful lettuces and vegetables. And then the smoky black-eyed peas and a rice made from lentils and other vegetables. There'll be Southern-style sautéed greens. I'm right now roasting cauliflower for a Cajun cauliflower wild rice soup, which is more like a stew. It's really thick and rich. My clients have ordered the fruit crisp for the first time, so I'm excited about that. I got some really beautiful not bell peppers. Not one of them be a yummy fruit crisp at all. No, it's made with pears and apples, and then there'll be some pecans and all kinds of good stuff in there.
Also, since our last episode, we did a Vava Vegan video featuring a recipe, and it's on YouTube as well. Do you want to talk about that just briefly before you get to the end of the segment there?
Yeah, I have been exploring coleslaw every which way but loose, and I made creamy, crunchy Asian slaw. It turned out absolutely delicious and very nutritious with low fat, because I only used a touch of sesame oil and a little bit of vegan mayo, but mostly other super healthy stuff to make it flavorful.
And we'll put a link to that on the bottom of the screen for you, as well as in the show notes. Very delicious.
Yes, really, really nice. Anyway, so back to the Cajun meal. The actual last thing I'm going to talk about is actually the first thing that most people eat. It's the appetizer, and this I call puffy pigs. Puffy pigs are basically a vegan version of, what are they called? A vegan version of pigs in a blanket. And I make a sweet mustard dipping sauce. Really, really delicious. Kind of nutritious, but still very much a fun appetizer. So that's it. That's what's going on. I mean, I'll be cooking all night tonight and tomorrow, maybe even a little bit on Sunday. And then we're going to be starting a brand new year.
Oh, yeah. So this episode, we plan to air this in the beginning of February. So today is the 30th of December. So tomorrow's New Year's Eve. We're bringing in 2023 with some more videos and lots of music, more interviews coming your way. And
right. So when you see this, then it's already going to be 2023. So welcome to the new year.
All right. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Adios.
Yeah, we're still making stuff up.